Welcome to the Yang Gang Roundtable. It is Saturday, October 3rd, 2020, 2:08 p.m. I've got my good friend Mia Songbird here and Boyce from Mindful Skeptics. Thank you so much for coming. I'm sure some of our other speakers will trickle in, but I wanted to start the stream right away because we do have limited time with you. So, we are a basic income advocacy podcast dedicated to bridging gaps in the basic income advocacy community. So that means we have different ideologies. We don't all agree on everything. We're very different people. But we all come together for basic income. I think that's the kind of spirit we need to pass, basically. That's the sort of soul of the show here, if you're not familiar with it. With that said, we just have an open discussion about poverty, basic income, and electoral politics. It all usually ties to the crazy news cycle of 2020. That's my preamble. That's the whole thing. I was going to hand it over to Mia here.
Okay, hi Boyce.
What's up, Mia?
I don't know if we've been in the same chat before, but I've definitely seen you on Twitter a lot, and I've watched a few of your videos, so nice to meet you face to face.
Yes, me too. We've been in some Zoom calls together before, though. The Humanity Hangs and stuff. I've seen you there.
Yes, that's where I thought maybe, but I wasn't 100% sure. I didn't want to make any presumptions.
Yeah.
So how are things going for your channel in general? Let's just start out there.
Well, I'm with the news cycle being so overwhelming right now. It's like, what do you even focus on? So I've decided to kind of circle back, and I actually did the audiobook of Rage by Bob Woodard, and I'm actually breaking that down chapter by chapter for like a book review, stuff like that. And then of course I'm just still interviewing candidates running for Congress and Senate, state and U.S. Senate, and U.S. Congress and state Congress. But I'm trying to work on getting Paula Jean, something or other from West Virginia, and Teresa Greenfield from Iowa. Just trying to get them out there and do some fundraisers for different campaigns and, share content,
That is really awesome. I absolutely love I love the down ticket stuff. I've been doing a lot of phone banking lately and all that with Humanity Forward. You know that we've been doing the Humanity Calls thing, so that's a very close to my heart, that issue.
Yeah, we got to get a base, and that includes like city mayors, and because they have the mayors for UBI or basic income. Stuff like that is a good initiative, and then they have the all the state legislation. That if we get enough people in, because Andrew himself says, I want 3 in the U.S. Congress. We said, yes, sir, let's make it happen, and we'll see what happens on November 3rd. But I think if we can get 2 or 3 in Congress, at the U.S. Congress, and then maybe 3 or 4 in different states, then we have a good base. Because when someone announces they're running for president, they actually have like a power ranking thing they do. And it all depends on how many people that are former and current legislators. That's how they determine who's power ranking. That's why Bernie was at the top of Joe Biden, because everybody and their mother supported him because they had all these relationships established, and Andrew had 0. So I think going in, if we can help him get propped up and ready to go, that's the most efficient thing we can do right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Every place that we can get a UBI supporter in, or even just somebody who's like friendly with Yang, even in there, the more room he's going to have to wiggle when he tries to run again in 2024, which he absolutely will, or I will hold his feet to the fire, because he has insinuated he would many a time.
Yeah, I'm skeptical, unfortunately.
Yeah. It's hard to predict what will happen so far in the future in such a tumultuous time. It's hard to predict what will happen 4 weeks from now. 4 years is a very tall order at this point.
Hell, 4 days from now, we don't know how many people might pass away of COVID that's in our legislation right now.
We don't know if our president will be alive in 4 days.
Well, imagine if something happened. There's like 5 senators and 3 or 4 people in his direct staff. That entire administration should be on a 14-day quarantine, all of them. But they're still going to press conferences like a bunch of freaking morons.
Yeah.
And two people in the I can't remember exactly, but two people involved in getting Amy, what's her face,
The
into
Supreme Court
court
appointee, yeah,
are
I forget her name too.
they're not going to bother uh, recessing until after they're out of their quarantine stage. They're going to continue to proceed somehow as normal. How?
Yeah.
Well, and considering former Governor Chris Christie just popped positive in the middle of the night too.
Did he?
Yeah,
I'm in New
that
York,
got
so that hits home.
That was like last night, early this morning, like at maybe like 4 in the morning or 5 in the morning. I saw that come up,
Too bad.
and I was like, "Oh shoot!" Now because he was in the debate prep room with Donald Trump, no masks, no social distancing. They're talking. And you see the videos of these dipsticks shaking hands, giving hugs, kissing on a cheek with no mask on. You see Kellyanne Conway whispering into Barr's ear. I mean, please tell me that. I mean, come on, man.
Hi,
So
Ariel.
yeah,
Welcome to the show.
hey you guys, Boyce. So it was funny. I saw this little joke, and they said instead of Trump winning the Nobel Peace Prize, it's like the entire Republican administration can win the Darwin Award. So it's like that's what they all deserve. Because I mean, what the hell is wrong with these people? At a certain point, reality is just gonna come and put its foot up your butt. I mean, and that's exactly what happened. They at a certain point, like people, they just think that they're invincible. Whatever they do, whatever they say, nothing can hurt them. They think they're like gods among men, and then coronavirus just comes and smacks them from their high horse.
Well, let's be 100% honest, though, Ariel. They are. It's true that they are. They are untouchable. Just Mother Nature doesn't play by the same rules. This is the first time they've had a real reality check. Let's be honest. They are elite. They are untouchables.
Right. Yeah. This is the first time that the thing, because I mean, like, of course, like they have armed guards and like people. So if like they can dodge a question from the media, and the media is even on their side. I mean, let's be honest. They're in their back pockets, and like they have armed guards and stuff like that. This is the first time that something like this can hit them, and there's nothing they can do about it. But with the other methods, it's like they can just open up their wallets and just throw money at a problem and make it disappear.
It's a surprise to me, though. Even so, like that it did come up. I know they were doing terrible jobs of social distancing, not wearing masks, all that. But it still felt like Trump was somehow going to float through this till past the election. And the timing is just so insane. And like, yeah, it is. It's like,
I
well, that, yes.
like, Boyce, I think like you may not believe in a god, but I think
Oh my.
there's some kind of spirit of there's some kind of spirit of the universe out there that's just telling these people like, no, enough.
It's
You
called,
think,
it's called their own idiocy, and they brought it upon themselves. Just to be fair,
right?
I'm an atheist
Yeah.
myself, so
I just think it's poetic justice. I just think this is like the perfect look of like poetic justice of where you know the old saying like what goes around comes around, and it finally came around. For once, it finally came around. Karma, something like that.
Yeah. I understand what you're saying.
karma's kind of a real thing, even from like a scientific perspective, because you do it's the reap what you sow kind of thing. If you put out negative energy, people aren't going to like you as much, so people are going to be grumpier with you. If you go out and you do something stupid and you break a bone falling out of a tree because you climbed up too high and you didn't have anybody there to spot you and you're all alone, you die in the woods. You know, it's karma when you do something and then the consequences come back to get you, to an extent. You know, it's still the results of your own actions. It's kind of just how that's going to go after a while. You keep taking enough risks, you're going to fall.
But Trump has gotten through life reasonably unscathed because of his resources and because of his, I guess you could say, dumb luck and power of persuasion with, I guess you'd say, gangster mentality of hiring the thuggish lawyers and paying off people and not paying people, actual people he hired under contract. I mean, his last major project development in downtown New York in Manhattan, he didn't pay the contractors that built an entire freaking building, a skyscraper building, like a major housing development. He did not pay them for 10 years. He put them in court. So they signed a contract, and he's like, I don't like these terms. Like, dude, you wrote the terms, dumbass.
Oh.
I still don't like them. That was different. This is today. Okay, you ready? New terms. See you in
I
court.
love your impression. That is spot on.
I do it a lot.
Scary good.
But like, and then he took them to court for 10 years, and then these guys had to settle for 10 cents to the dollar. It's like a liquidation sale of their own labor.
Interesting.
And that's how he gets along. He's like, I'll spend $10 million in court to save $10 billion.
Yeah.
Or whatever the number might be. And it's not real money to him because it's not his money.
You know what's doubly,
Yeah,
what's doubly
exactly.
amazing
Well-
to me? I want to just add, he will do that. And then when he's running for election or re-election, he'll be like, look, I know the system is broken. This is how I know I exploited it here. And he'll show you what he did. And he's like, it's legal and it's wrong. You got to elect me because I know and I'll fix it. He's an amazing monster. Amazing. Like, it's an incredible thing.
Everything about that statement wasn't true until the last two words.
Right.
Well, now, what you got to realize too is that the Democrats aren't all that roses and rainbows.
No, of course not.
They're terrible because Trump would have never won if we had such out of touch, terrible human beings as Democrats as well.
Mhm.
I mean, like the whole, like Obama with his hope and change, and then he's the one who like bails out Wall Street, and then you know all of his stuff. So it's not just Trump is intelligent or powerful. It's that the system was so rotten and corroded for a person like him to win. That's all there was.
That's precisely what it is. It's not nothing to do with Trump at all. We are looking at it from the wrong direction if we go like, Trump, we got to change Trump. No, the system selects for Trump. That's the problem. We got to have a system that selects for someone we want.
Yeah, this is an algorithm. Yeah, this is like an algorithm of Facebook when you get the worst case scenario where shit sells instead of everything else. You know, like he is the ultimate product of this algorithm of our democracy that has money and politics.
Well, you got to remember that like our country is not a meritocracy at all, bar none. That's a load of crap. And the thing is that when you make enough, there you know like how a gamer develops a game and then they program in everything like the script and the code and all that stuff. There are people up there who are rigging this script and this program to work for them no matter what happens. It's like they're going into the source code and they're doing things to put it into their favor, and then they're gaslighting 300 million Americans into thinking that this place is a meritocracy and things are fair and you work hard and it's all just changing the script and gaslighting. Now the thing with us is that we know how we change that source code and that script is to elect people into office, is to have Yang president, but like we do it, we have to do it in a way that's intelligent and strategic and not just willy-nilly and not be so emotional.
It gets kind of hard when you tell people not to be emotional, though, too. Like, there are things to be emotional about. There are very real situations going on in people's lives.
Yeah, for sure.
To be upset. So
for sure, 100%. But
balance.
What can we do that'll change that reality to get that stress and worry and anxiety off? And so when we go at it politically, we have to do it in a way that actually changes things instead of just having people who are pissed off.
Boyce says he can explain it all to us.
Well, to me, there's like you mentioned, Ariel, game theory can be applied here. So right now we have a duopoly. It's like a Nintendo, the Super Nintendo. You had an A button and a B button. That's it. And you had a front, back, left, right. That's it. And that's kind of where we're at politically. We have two duopolies. We have front, back, left, right. That's kind of where we're at. It's like we're not playing a 3D chess game. We're playing a two-dimensional Frogger. That's about where our politics is at right now. We need to do a new upgraded game theory. A gamification of our politics would involve ranked choice voting, democracy dollars, term limits. It's just I am not going to say it's that simple, but it really is when you break it down to 3 things that would flip this sucker in the head. And now now we're playing with an Xbox controller with 2 triggers and 4 buttons, and multi-directional pads where you can really get many results out of this system now with ranked choice voting, democracy dollars, or publicly funded elections is what it really is. Not just a certain policy of Andrew Yang's, and then to have term limits for everyone at different levels. Because we have term limits in Michigan.
But then we also have to find out how we get those things is how do we increase our visibility? Because that's the thing. I mean, Yang would have demolished Trump if he was up there on that debate stage with him instead of Joe Biden. But the only reason he's not where he is because of just eyeballs. And so it's very hard to get eyeballs when you're just presenting solutions and being logical, but somehow it's very easy to get eyeballs if you just make a spectacle of yourself and do something stupid or ridiculous, or even like just something that'll just like get people to turn their heads, like like shaking car keys at a baby. I mean, that's basically what what gets eyeballs. It's like that. But first, we do that to get the eyeballs, and then once we have the eyeballs, then we can talk about what's important, I think.
It seems like we don't. Because from the inside, it feels like we're growing so slow. But if you look at other movements and such and how long they have taken, UBI, Andrew Yang, all of that is taking off actually very quickly. And the fact that like there's so many of us starting podcasts and so many of us out there, it feels like it's not happening, but the algorithm will, as people are interested in UBI, lean towards more information that sends them down these UBI rabbit holes and gets more people to us. And it is a snowball effect. It is insidiously slow, and it feels like nothing's happening when you're on the inside. But if you ask anybody from the outside, Tulsi supporters are surprised by how Yang Gang's doing. All sorts of organizations have no idea how we've achieved the success we have as quickly as we have.
We're coordinated.
That's pretty good news. I like that. And yeah, and yeah, this is another thing I want to bring up. And we can't have a cool kids table in the Yang Gang either. It's very like one of the things I liked about you, Boyce, is like you were even willing to give me your cell phone number and and have this open communication.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people are just using Yang Gang to like increase their own clout and like do what they want to do. They don't care about the solutions. They don't care about like any of that. It's just like, oh, how can I just ride the coattails, and then when things go sour, just leave as quick as I can. But we really need to be sharing the strategies we get on how we get audiences and how we get mobilization, and we can't keep it to ourselves. I mean, just because it's like, oh, we want more for me and like my channel, and like these people are over there, because that we're fighting that in the macrocosm, that there's a set group of people that get all the attention and get all the help, and then everybody else is left in this every man for himself scarcity mindset. So if that's what we're fighting against, we can't do it among ourselves, but unfortunately there are people in this movement who are like that.
There's like that in every movement. This is a human characteristic.
Yeah.
It's a human characteristic. It's very human to want attention. And it's very human to want shortcuts. And the Yang Gang is a shortcut for some people to get the eyeballs you were talking about earlier. And you just got to be. Some people are just sensationalizing things or doing things that are over the top. Just eye catching. But that's why I think that me starting this trickle up thing is so important, because I want to use that to rise all boats. We're all going to rise because we'll all have the exact same exposure in one place, where like we have Karen, who just made a new podcast called Careworth Podcast, where she's actually a caregiver and talks about it from that point of view. And Mia, I believe, was just on there this week.
Yes, I was.
Right. And so she's got a good idea, but now that she come to me and I put her on the trickle up, she'll actually get more exposure. Because if someone comes on there because of, let's say, who's the biggest, Zach and Matt show has the biggest subscribers on YouTube, right? So if someone comes to trickle up to look at one of their things and they see Careworth and they're like, I've never heard of that. Click on it and they listen to it once. And that's all she needs is a chance. Also, that's all we all need. So that's why I'm sharing your guys' content too, everybody as I can, with the limited time I have available to share as much as I can.
Much appreciated.
That we got to, that's why I think there is no Cool Kids Club, and that way we'll all get the exact same treatment on one media outlet like that, where we can do, the trickle up can do what TYT does best, and then avoid the garbage that TYT does to give us a negative view publicly and the tainted view, and then take what the Hill does best and do, whereas the Rising is like, I'm working on a daily news content.
Exactly.
So we can do that, and that's actually in the works rather quickly here. I'm talking before the general election. I want to have my first episode of the daily. It's going to be called The Low, daily news, man.
But what do you believe that the Young Turks does well? I'm curious.
Oh, well, they have a huge they got to a big market.
Yeah, they did. I think, but here's the thing. I don't think that's a teachable thing. I think the Young Turks did well primarily because they're just, they have the same core competencies that anyone looking to develop a show with enough resources and time can develop, but they were there first. They were just there first. And I think that can't be taught, that can't be conveyed. So if we're going to look at like, what did they do right? It's kind of going to be, we can't do that.
No, but we are striking while the iron is hot first too.
Okay.
Like we're the first Yang Gang YouTubers, all of them, all these podcasts. We're still OG, man. Like this is the first 18 months.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's true.
They've been doing it for 14 years.
Yeah.
They get like 4 million views a day on their YouTube channel alone. They had a decade or a decade and a half head start to us. But we can do it faster because we can gamify this thing. We understand how this shit works now. We have so many tech intelligent people that we're just gonna be better at it. That's all. We're gonna outcompete them.
Have something they don't have, which is a lot of more compassionate people. Like a lot of the stories that TYT tells are just so
a lot of negativity.
There's a lot of negativity, and there's not a lot of like getting in with like normal people.
Exactly.
Which is something that Yang Gang I think does really well, is getting in and having conversations with just people.
Yeah.
As opposed to trying to, we try to get our good guests on and all that, and political guests, but we take the time out to care about individuals as well.
That's something I'm looking at developing, is because like the TYT and the Hill are rubbing elbows in Washington D.C. They're no different than ABC and NBC. They're Coke, not Pepsi, of online media, so they're going to be that one. And that's why I chose the name The Low is our daily. It's the down low, the low down. This is what's happening on the street level.
And also, like our movement cannot be an echo chamber movement, and we cannot be attacking, Republicans and conservatives and just trying to make fun of them and stuff like that. I think that is a big, big blind spot for progressives. Just this automatic hate of like the other side. And even of like differing opinions on our own side. Like I remember when I was at the Long Beach when Yang came in for the Telemundo event, and then Bernie people just came up and they were like, why do you like this guy? Like, who the hell is he? Like, what am I surrounded by? It's like, no, like, let's have a conversation. Just like, if you're curious, you're just not like, oh, you're taking away Bernie's shine. It's like, oh, so what's about this guy that like Bernie doesn't have, and let's have a conversation. It's like you can't, because after 2016, they thought like Bernie was entitled to be the president, and that's that. Because like, it doesn't work that way. And if somebody comes up who has UBI on their platform and like all of Yang's policies, and maybe they thought of something else, and I don't know, they're like an Iranian American running for president, I would be all like, oh, okay, tell me more. I wouldn't be all like, no, Yang lost in 2020. You can't do this in 2024, Yeah,
it's short-sighted. But that's what I like about gathering all the Yang Gang together too, because we'll shit on everyone, left and right. We don't care. If you do something stupid, we're gonna point it out. Like both sides. DNC. I hate Nancy Pelosi's positions. I don't want her to be third in command right now. If Pence and Trump go down, Pelosi? No. Yeah. Worst case scenario, Pelosi.
And if somebody said like, yeah, let Yang win the presidency, but he has to drop UBI and democracy dollars and all of his ideas, I'd be like, no way.
Of
Yeah.
course.
Be a corporate Democrat.
You know, if there are those yang gang out
Right.
there that are like that, we call it out even in our own kind of like turf, you
That's
know.
right.
We
But
have
that's
conversations about it too. I've seen when people do disagree, there are conversations about why they disagree. You know, things do often get worked out more often than not. It just doesn't get seen a lot by people browsing through for the
Yeah.
drama.
Yeah, because social media has made it like these sucker punch conversations where it's like, you suck, no, you suck, and now I'm gonna insult you like this, and then I'm gonna feel great about insulting you like that, and then I'm gonna block you, and I won. It's like, well, no wonder our country is in the shit that it's in. Pardon me.
Well, it starts at the top. Look at our presidential debate. Leadership matters. I mean, this is the examples being set for us to follow as humans. Is the leader of us humans in America with these man-made limits we put out? They call them borders for some reason. Where all of us are being led by the biggest primate of them all, the orange baboon, and we have a silverback arguing with a baboon. It's just crazy.
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, I'm really hoping that if Trump does come out of this thing alive, it can humble him a little bit.
No.
But no,
Okay.
you don't think
I
so?
don't think that's
Well,
in his
I mean,
repertoire,
Well,
getting
why-
humble. I don't think he
brag
ever
about-
learned to play that one.
well, I mean,
If he comes out of it
if
alive,
he's-
he's gonna brag about it. He's gonna spend the entire time talking about how his superior genetics brought him from the cusp of darkness, and he miraculously survived as the savior of us all. That's what he's
Oh, yeah.
Probably. I mean, it's
Anyway.
not. It doesn't really matter. What really matters
Yeah.
is policy. But I mean, yeah, I don't think I'm gonna expect a big face turn from Big Orange.
If he goes under the ventilator and comes out of it, maybe.
I mean,
experience-
no. I hope that doesn't happen. I hope he doesn't. I don't wish that on anyone.
Yeah,
I don't think that no matter. I just think this is a man who's determined to learn nothing, you know, and he's in a situation where it behooves him to learn nothing. So he's going to learn
But-
nothing. Don't hope for
but
him to
I
learn
mean,
anything.
if-
Don't count on it,
if
man.
he-
It's not likely.
If he comes out of it with like, but not 100%, like he has like, you know, these long-term effects, it may humble him if he has to
You
deal
mean
with
like brain
something.
damage, so he has an
Like,
entirely new personality?
I don't
Ugh.
know why, like all these, he comes out of it with a lot of problems because of his
lobotomy.
weight and stuff like that. That may humble him. I mean, I don't know, but whatever.
But to me, to be humbled means you have to recognize your ego. I think that's one skill set he does not have.
Yeah, I
He
think
doesn't
that's
recognize his
precisely
own
it.
ego. He can't be humbled. You know what I mean? Like that's a very academic approach, but
No,
it
I
is
think,
what it
I
is.
think you have nailed it. That is the issue. He does not have a sense of himself as fallible, as a thing that can be critiqued. Only he can't fail, only be failed. That's his sense of self. So
Yeah, he
that's where
doesn't
we
fail.
are.
People fail him.
Mhm.
Yeah, my policies were the best policies, and then Schumer and Pelosi screwed it up, or whatever.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, it's always deflect. He is the ultimate projector. He's the projector in chief because everything he does wrong, he says it about Biden. You're a racist. I'm like, what? You're a radical. What? And even Biden, I think Biden did a pretty decent job of just laughing at him. That's what I want to do, just laugh at him. He says something stupid, be like, oh,
Well, I mean,
God.
Biden's a villain
He has
too.
a charming smile.
But, yeah.
Biden's skill set. No, but Biden's skill set is he is a charmer. Like
Yeah,
he has a
it's-
charming smirk.
When I was watching, it's interesting that you have this perspective. You're like, yeah, Biden did a good job defending. My perspective was like, oh, let these monsters beat each other up every time. Like, Trump got a swing, and I was like, oh, good. He deserves. He's no better. Because he's a monster. He's also the head of his own mafia. That's really no different. It's just like a different skin on the same monster.
No, but for me, I just want Biden to win. Then I choose to fight Biden. Let's put it that way. I'm voting for
Yeah.
Biden because I want to fight him,
Mhm.
not Trump. Because Trump is an immovable idiot.
Yeah.
Joe Biden is a movable.
I don't think he's movable.
He is movable. He's already moved.
Not in a way that I think he's movable, but only on things that don't really matter to us. He's never going to give us basic income or healthcare or electoral reform.
Well, he does have
So
a plan that has $300 a month per kid in it.
per kid, that's not a basic income, but I mean that is good.
income, but it's a start, and it's more than Trump is
If we
giving us.
keep accepting incrementalism, though, we're just going to get the minimum less and less and less, and we're just going to be like, oppressed our whole lives. So I can't keep, the cycle can't continue with Joe Biden. He represents something that is longer lived, more powerful, more dangerous on a long time scale than Trump. On a short time scale, Trump is more dangerous, yes, acutely. But chronically, neoliberalism, that is much more dangerous than any man could be.
These are two kind of conflicting arguments that you're having, though. On one hand, Biden is immovable. On the other hand, when we get something that's a little bit towards it, that's incrementalism. So, I get what you're saying, but also,
but we don't actually get things.
Ground.
I think incrementalism is a fallacy. I think we're not actually moving towards anything. I think if you think of it that way, it's inaccurate, because what's happening is, the closer we get to something, the more placation there is, the less interest there is, the less support there is for it, because some people have been pacified by the minimum. They'll keep doing the minimum, and people will still be dying from whatever lack is being inflicted on them, and we'll never get past there. They can always use that strategy unless we get tougher on them.
Well, I mean, it's up to us to like grease the wheels and like.
Yeah, and by tougher, I mean we can't vote for them when they give us the minimum, even if it hurts us. I know the people don't agree with me, but okay. I understand other perspectives as well.
I was that way in 2016, even though the same things were at stake then. I just, my kid got older. I saw how bad Trump is and what he's done to our nation and the things he wanted to do that he didn't get away with, that people squashed him down on. And I fear for a lot of very vulnerable peoples this time around. Yeah, I understand where you're coming from, Shale. It's
but I think
true.
The thing is, Biden's going to let those vulnerable people die anyway. He'd be like, sorry, I did my best,
Well, with $600 more a month, my kid and I would be a lot more safe than we are right now.
I don't think he'll pass that. I think it's just lip service. He's not going to get anything good through. He can't, because his donors just don't want it. That's the bottom line. That's what I believe.
But I think we're missing the point. It doesn't matter who the president is. But ultimately, the president does not write shit. They just put their signature on stuff. We have to focus on Congress. They're the ones that write the laws. They're the ones that hold the purse. If you want to get money in their hands, go where the purse, the coin dealers are. Congress, the Senate. The Senate is they write the stuff and they hold people accountable. Then the House is the coin purse. They determine how much money. So we've got to go down ballot, man. It doesn't matter if Chuck E. Cheese is the president. If there's Chuck Schumer and Pelosi and these rotten turds on the right of the troll, what's his name? Turtlehead. What's his name?
McConnell.
Moscow Mitch. There you go. I can never remember his name.
McConnell.
But yeah, Mitch, and you've got these bootlickers like that little son of a bitch. And the guy in Iowa, he needs to go. Again, disagree. But yeah, like, doesn't matter who the president is. Mm-hmm. When they have executive power, of course, but there's three things. There's checks and balances. That's why it's 3, not 4. So it'd be nice if Biden was president to sign good legislation that's more progressive. But if there's a Republican-led Senate or the House, it doesn't matter if Andrew Yang's the president. He's never going to get UBI to write on a piece of paper. We've got to focus down ballot because we don't have Andrew Yang. He's out. The best we can hope for is him being in a cabinet position. And that's about it. That's the only hope we have for him. So I have to focus down ballot and say, I'm planning on Trump winning, and that's why I'm voting so hard. I'm working so hard to get people in the Senate and Congress, or in the U.S. Congress, to be as another check to Trump if he wins. I'm voting for Biden, but I'm planning on Trump winning. That's why I'm donating and volunteering a lot of time and effort for down ballot candidates, because I plan on Trump winning, and we just got to get McConnell because he's going to win his election. Amy McGrath is a terrible candidate to go against. That's a foregone conclusion. She might get within like 20 points is about the average for him for the past 35 years he's been in office. But Biden is one of those stupid. Like, I voted third party in 2016, and I've regretted it ever since. So I live in Michigan, where he only won by like less than 80,000 votes within the 5 swing states. I think Michigan was like 12,000. I'm one of those people that voted third party. So I was like, fuck them both, And now I just can't do it this time, where there are ramifications, because I have privileges. I'm a white male in America with good health and a job. Like, I'm pretty damn fortunate. I don't have to make a lot of money. I live simple, but damn it, I got a lot of advantages other people don't. And I don't want to see my friends in the LGBTQ community being shit on, let's put it that way, and people that just don't agree with Trump pretty much and the conservative party being disregarded. That's my biggest fear, is Trump winning, because we hate the DNC so much. Like, I don't like the DNC.
But the only
I'm
people
going
who
for
are
30%.
protected, the only people it makes a difference for under Biden v. Trump are the people who are already middle class. You know, like the poor people of color are not going to be treated any better under Biden, honestly. Really
I
not.
to
Healthcare alone.
No, they're not going. We're not getting healthcare under Biden.
No, but Trump is going to take it away from those people that still have it. That's my biggest fear.
He's not going to succeed. That's never happened in history. No country has ever passed like a healthcare plan that's been stricken when they have the money to pay for it. That won't happen. Don't be afraid. Don't buy the media hoopla. It's fear mongering. They're trying to get you to vote for Joe Biden without Joe Biden ever giving you anything, so they can continue this forever. And I'm sick of it.
It's either going to be Trump or Joe. That's what the end comes down to. And I would rather it be Joe, because both of them aren't going to give us what we want.
Like voting for Joe is the kind of thing that will like stave
horrible.
off UBI forever. Is my fear, you know?
If it could stave off UBI forever for us not to get it for the next 4 years, then Trump's just as bad. It's really a no-sum game. The only thing that really does move the needle is, like what Boyce is saying, is getting in down ballot candidates who are supportive of UBI. And I don't care what side of the fence those people are on, if they're supportive of UBI and they're like not absolute horrifying monsters.
Right. Yeah, sure. Absolutely. I'm with you.
We have to stop being distracted by who the presidential elections, and we have to really focus all of our energy on the people who actually like make things move, get the laws passed, and we have to put the ultimate amount of pressure on them.
Square circle here before anybody else, because this is kind of important. When I say like we can't vote for Biden, I'm using Biden as a stand-in for every down ballot machine politics Democrat as well. Unless you have a humanity forward Democrat, don't vote Democrat. Don't vote Republican either. It's horrible, obviously. But that doesn't even need to be said. But you know, if there's a humanity forward candidate, a UBI candidate on the ballot, you go vote for them. Don't vote for any machine politics Democrat. Don't vote for a Democrat just because they're a Democrat. That's shooting yourself in the foot. That's saying, yes, you can harvest my vote. I'm in your coalition, but I don't expect anything from you. So don't do that. And the thing is, people who go to the polls to vote for Joe Biden are going to do just that. So I say don't vote for Joe Biden as shorthand for the more meaningful votes. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, I don't like to pull the D lever or R lever either. Like, I don't like that approach.
There are honest reasons to do so anyways, though. Like, if we do manage to get enough Democrats to swing something and we get enough pro-UBI candidates in there, then when a bill passes, having the House controlled by allies, quote-unquote allies.
They're not allies. That's the mistake we make.
And they pass things now and again. It happens occasionally.
Nope.
You're so negative about this, man. Okay. I love you, but I'm on a different page than you. I love you, though.
I guess we're on different pages. Love you too.
But that's the beauty of the fucking game. Let's be real.
Yeah, like, the point is we can have these disagreements. What matters is I have faith in me. I know that her intention is the same as mine. So if I have faith that she, as well, is just trying to solve these same problems and she's cooperating with me, it doesn't become personal, painful, or problematic if we disagree. It's just a matter of logistics. We're just trying to figure out how to proceed.
Yeah. We all have the same goal.
Yeah.
We just don't know how to get there. It's the path is not clear.
More efficient path to the same goal. Yeah. That's the thing. But then also, like, just ask other people why they do. No. Like, everybody who's stuck in the duopoly and the matrix, who doesn't understand that they're being screwed, they should be our priority. They should be like the people we talk to, because it's like, oh, okay, like all the jersey wearers for DNR, just if we have a calm, rational conversation with them about like how nothing's actually being done and just their emotions are just being manipulated the whole time while they never get any help. Whether you're a Democrat or you're a Republican, you're eventually gonna see that.
And I'll say this: I am 100% committed to the movement for the People's Party in 2024. I am not going to campaign for a Democrat in the next election cycle.
What if the news scares you into thinking it's existential again to make you abandon your plan? Because that's what they'll do. That's their plan already.
Fuck them.
No, you're gonna say, I said fuck them, but now I've been guilted into it. I can't because I had these privileges. People are gonna die. They told me people are gonna die.
That's not really fair because in 2016 he made a different choice.
Yeah, but I mean,
choice was based on information that he gets,
okay.
not based on
now that
somebody
the
else.
establishment has wisened up and figured out how to subvert that, why won't the same subversion work next time?
I don't know.
Well, hopefully Trump will be. Oh, I'm sorry. Nope, not going to say that out loud.
All I can say
Okay.
is, I can speak from my own point of view, my own, I guess you'd say not point of view, but my own agenda
Mm-hmm.
is to undo the duopoly. That is my.
I
true
agree,
intent.
man. And it's like, it hurts my heart to
So-
see you voting for Biden saying you want to undo the duopoly.
I know. It's shitty timing is what it is. It's
I don't
really
think so.
shitty.
It's
timing for
always
me.
shitty timing. That's the game they play every time. It's like, no,
Okay,
this is
then.
the special election. I can't do it this time. But every time they
Okay,
scare
you're-
us, and we're like wrestling fans. We forget the plot.
So your Boyce, who you voting for?
Howie Hawkins.
Howie Hawkins has also stolen his own nomination in the Green Party.
Okay, then you know what? I'm just gonna write in Andrew Yang.
You know what I'm saying? But as I'm saying, like every candidate has a problem. We all have our own. Like there's some drama or whatever. But I feel like the Green Party would do similar things once they got in charge. But this is all just projection on my part. So I don't trust any major system like that.
It's interesting
But-
you consider the Green Party a major system. They're so
No,
old,
not-
perhaps they
I'm
are. Yeah.
What I'm saying is if they got in a similar position as the DNC.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe you're
Possible.
right. You know what?
Possible.
You're right. I'm not gonna vote for Howie Hawkins. You've changed my mind. I'm gonna write in Andrew Yang.
I will say it is absolutely 100% true. We need to stop the two-party system in general because this argument shouldn't be existing. We should be able to vote for who we want to vote for without fear that it's going to mean we're going to trash our country. And that's 100% once we get UBI. If we don't get ranked choice voting before UBI, it's ranked choice voting next for advocacy.
I think we're at UBI without ranked choice voting. But I really don't. I have less faith that I think we need ranked choice voting in the next election cycle. Because right now, Maine's actually doing it for the entire state and federal elections now.
That's the
So
last
I'm
thing they want to
hoping-
give us, though. Why would they ever give us the thing that jeopardizes their power the most?
Well, whoever they are in Maine. So whoever they are in Maine needs to get their ass to Michigan and every other state. So they did it, we can too. That's kind of how I'm approaching it, is like, okay, now I'm going to run for fucking office in 2022 if I have to. I have two candidates I'm supporting. One is running against Fred Upton, who's been my representative in the U.S. Congress since 1987. And then the other one is Chope Pritchard, who's my state legislator for my district. And if they win, cool, then I won't run. If they lose, I'm coming right behind them, and I'm going to pick the ball up and keep running with it. And we all have to do that type of stuff if you're in a position.
And the GOP got their upper hand through Congress and all that was running up through local elections and placing their people, giving their people enough experience that when they ran them on that, they could say, this person who's this establishment, who we know is safe to run because they've gone through this local chapter and been mayor of this town or whatever, and then push those people up to the next level. So starting small actually makes large changes over time. It's not radical. I'm sorry, that one's not radical. It's the way it works, but it's not radical.
No, the Republicans are so much better at this game than the DNC. It's fucking laughable. It's laughable how much more they do with less when it comes to people. They got money, but the way they play the DNC is, I don't know, man. Well, the DNC helps them play them, technically, if you think about it. But
Yeah, I mean, the DNC intends to lose a lot, I think.
well, they definitely did a good job of it.
They're
They
not
did a good
stupid.
job of it.
They're not stupid. They're not without skill. They are losing in a way that behooves them. So why not continue it?
Yeah, there's absolutely no incentive to really compete overall because as long as you just take the opposite position on some hardline things that people are going to hardline on, they're going to get about 50% of the population. That's just the way that works when you've got parties.
I don't actually consider the Democrats worse at playing the game of politics than the Republicans. They're just playing a different game. They're playing to lose. They're playing to win the minimum to keep their jobs while losing. And the Republicans are playing to win the maximum. They're just playing different games. And they're both equally good at it. And they both need to be removed.
Oh, absolutely. Well, like I said, I'm going to be, I've been in contact with Nick Brana of the Movement for People's Party, and I'm going to do everything I can, because they actually had Scott Santons on and Nick Brossman, what the hell's his name? Anyway, but yeah, they had a couple of UBI advocates and Humanity First advocates on there, so I really appreciated them giving us a voice as a movement as well, and they're inclusive. I like that about them. And that's kind of where I'm going to be at, because if we could have had a little more head start, I think we could have made some noise in this election. But they didn't form the party yet, so they actually are formally forming a party in 2021. So I'm very interested in that, and I want to see how they develop. Like what gamification are they going to do with this system? Are they going to come out and prop up good candidates? Are they going to support existing candidates that are going to maybe pledge ABC that aligns with their agenda? I'm interested in how they're gonna. So I've never seen a party form. Like, when's the last time we've seen a party form? We've had the Green Party, we've had the Tea Party, and then just the Independents, which doesn't amount to shit besides Ross Perot. So I want to be part of that and just see what it looks like and experience that from kind of like Andrew Yang stuff, ground zero. How do we do it? And I don't know, man. I'm hopeful. But again, I'm planning on Trump winning. That's why I'm fighting so hard down ballot, because
I'm not
even
scared
if Biden,
of Trump winning. I think it's just a bunch of fear mongering. The American democracy is not going to become more unstable because we have Trump than Biden. These are underlying problems. It's not going to become more stable under Biden. It's just the news, who's on one side, has been tricking everyone.
There's some truth to that too, for sure. Fear is their greatest asset. It's their favorite tool.
We have inevitable instability on the horizon, and there's no vote that will change that.
Unfortunately, not yet. Not yet. But I really do think that ranked choice voting will allow us to do to me, ranked choice voting is like a combination of a caucus and a primary in one. You can say, okay, my number one is this person, my number two is but my last one's that asshole over there. I'll do everything I can to keep that one out. Trump's my four.
Joe Biden was that guy for me in the Democratic primary. Just funny story.
Hey, honestly, I actually did I ranked the 26 people.
Yeah, he was my last. Actually, he was my second last. Buttigieg was behind him, but yeah.
Well, my bottom five.
What did Buttigieg do? Well, really quickly, he's just like a more capable, competent, longer-lived Biden.
Oh, I was asking about Bloomberg.
Bloomberg? God, I don't know. I didn't think about him. I don't think I even ranked him. He's not a real player. He's just a rich guy.
I don't consider him. Yeah, he's just a financier.
Precisely, well said.
My bottom five was Biden, Harris, Buttigieg, Amy Klobuchar, and who's the other one? Oh, Bloomberg. That's right. Bloomberg is my bottom five. He jumped in kind of late, but I said, fuck it, I'll throw him in there too. He sucks.
Bloomberg was my bottom, but I worked really hard to try and only keep positive and just pick a top three. So rather than ranking them all by how terrible they were at the bottom, I just these are the three I like, and the rest I'm just gonna ignore as if they don't exist.
Well, I did a bottom five, top five.
I was just as long as we don't get Biden, it'll feel like I'll know there's progress, and I'll know there's been some progress. So there hasn't been, and I feel the way I knew I would feel.
I 100% agree, because I thought the table was stacked, because he was ranked number one before he even ran. They had him ranked one. Polling. They polled his name and didn't put Andrew Yang in the polls when the motherfucker wasn't even in it yet, man. They're this is like Weekend at Bernie's primary.
Yeah, and I'm just no matter what, I will not be harvested. I will not let my vote be harvested.
I don't think that as long as you are informed and you are paying attention to what's going on, whatever decision you come to, your vote is being harvested. I understand why your perspective is different, but I think that everybody has the ability to, like, shouldn't have to feel like just because they came to a different decision that they're being used. You can
Yeah.
have different reasons for that, you know? Like, I even, like, the Trump people, I do understand that they've got their reasons. They might be wrong
Oh yeah.
on a lot of the stuff, but they've got their reasons.
Yeah, they have good intent too.
Most people don't vote out of a willing ignorance. There are some fuck you voters. You know, Trump got a good portion of
You know,
those.
I'm going to challenge that perspective. I think most
What's that?
people. I think most people don't vote not out of a willful ignorance. I want to challenge this. This is a common narrative I think is wrong and keeps us disempowered. People are smarter than we give them credit for. People know their vote doesn't matter. They looked into it. They were excited at one point in their life, and they were crushed by the reality. And they were not like dreamers like some of us might be, and they were realists. And they said, "No, fuck it. This is a system that's meant to eat me alive. I just got to dedicate myself to surviving it. I can't put any energy into being its master."
Oh, absolutely. I 100% agree with that because it's a mindset of scarcity where everyone is just like, fuck what they're doing. This is what I got to do to eat, have shelter, and take care of my family and not die.
Yeah, and that's
today.
not a position of ignorance.
No, it isn't. But I'm saying more of, I don't think anyone willingly goes into it and says, I don't know, I just hit a button. Like,
Yeah, that's a myth.
most people, most people have some kind of agenda they want to align with. Okay, that's why you have a lot of single voter or single topic voters. I want abortion. Bam. I don't. Bam. It's just that simple for most people when it comes down to single issue voters that don't really want to think too far and, like you said, waste any resources, time, or energy thinking farther than that one topic. And that's just, life is easier and manageable that way. And I totally get that because I've lived that life. I've only recently got involved in politics in the last 2 years. I gave zero shits about politics before 2016. Nothing.
I dared, but I was of the mindset that I could not do anything. That I was, one, too small to matter to anybody who would listen. So who the hell is going to care what I vote for? And two, it does not matter because of the way the system is set up overall. In the end, I can root for my favorite team, but that's really all it amounts to, you know? So
Yeah.
the idea of getting politically involved is new to me since 2016 as well.
I think one of the ways the system disempowers us is by teaching us this narrative that it is the fault of the non-voters because they are ignorant that they don't vote. That is something we have to overcome that divides us and that just puts all the people, most of the country, completely out of play. They're non-voters because they know their vote doesn't matter. What has to happen is someone in the system has to go like, I'm going to represent you as a coalition. I'm going to give you things. I'm going to make a campaign that's only looking for non-voters because there are so many of them. I don't need to go for anyone else. And it might win at some point, and that will be a real paradigm shift.
Yes, you could win on first-time voters alone.
That's exactly what I'm saying. And like,
Yeah,
why
like
doesn't someone do that? Why doesn't someone eschew every voter but first-time voters on the simple premise that there are more of them? So I will just go for them.
It's
I
just
don't
like
know
that
why.
movie Ants.
Why don't we
You
do
know,
it?
I agree.
Because there's not a lot of
Hey,
research.
Boyce,
into it.
when you do it, I'll be your campaign manager. We'll do it together. We'll figure it out. What do you think? I'm only like 40% joking. Get back to me. Think about it. Think about it.
It's just
We'll
like
talk later.
Unbelievable. I was looking up Twitter, and Jimmy Gomez, who David Kim is running against, is talking about how he wants to like end Citizen United and end big money. But underneath his tweet, only specific people that follow him or his friends can respond to what he puts up. So it's like, how can you block your own constituents from responding to you on social media and call that a democracy? This is such BS.
I commented on it.
Oh, the Jimmy Gomez one?
Mhm.
Oh, that's weird. Because I don't know if you maybe you follow him. I don't follow him.
No.
Oh no.
I have I won't say I have high hopes. That's just silly. I'm trying to I'm trying to remain positive best I can in this game that we're in right now, where we all have like one pawn and one king.
Do remain positive, but like, the thing is, the things we got to be positive about are all the things they tell us not to be. Like, don't look at your real power. You know, be positive about these disempowering fake things. Like, oh, incrementalism is good. That's your power. No, the real power is like the things we take for granted are not so. The Supreme Court is not really the most powerful branch of Congress. It's just cultural that Congress doesn't decide to override the Supreme Court like it is supposed to. You know, if it doesn't like a decision the Supreme Court makes, Congress used to write a new law. Huh? Remember that? I mean, I don't remember personally, but that is history. So now Congress defers to the legislative branch because it is a good way to prevent any change from happening, and they don't want the social order to change because they're just completely purchased by the corporations. But we have that system.
And deflect responsibility.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely what the DNC and RNC are playing ping pong back and forth with. Who gives a
they
shit?
play you lose, I lose, and we can't do it anymore. Hi, Faye Doney.
Hi, I got distracted. I am so sorry.
No problem. Do you have would you like to say anything to Boyce?
Oh, I'm just very glad the work that you're doing. I absolutely I super highly respect you, and you're very inspiring to me. And so I'm just glad that you're doing the work you're doing, and it's fun working alongside you with some of the projects as well. I like directing people towards you. So I think what you're doing is it's going to impact the world, I think. And I don't say that lightly.
I really appreciate that because I don't want slave masters.
It's a great shirt.
It's the Run the Jewels 4th album cover.
Nice.
There's a song called Just Money with Zach De La Rocha. I'm a huge Rage Against the Machine fan.
Yeah.
I love Run the Jewels. So this is a song called Just Money, and this is their artwork for this song. And so it's a limited edition shirt. And as soon as the album come out, I went to their website and I saw it. I was like, I gotta have that shit. So I spent $35 like 4 months ago. I just got it like a couple weeks ago. I just love the shirt because it shows what it really is. Like you're saying, it's just we are pawns on their game. Like we're not even in the game.
Yeah.
Like how do we win at a game we're not even in? It's like we can't even buy a ticket.
Well, first we have to realize that what they tell us, is our power is really not. The vote really doesn't matter in the way we pretend it does. It matters maybe in a different way,
What do you guys think about some of these states that are trying to circumvent the the electoral college by saying 100% of the electoral college electorate will go toward a popular vote?
Sounds good. Let's do it.
I like that. I think like 7 or 8 states have done that so far.
Yeah, do it. I will be amazed if it gets through without some kind of systemic block because the system is completely captured.
Well, this is a state issue. Elections are state issues.
But it doesn't matter. There will be some federal legislation passed that makes this illegal or unconstitutional.
But I don't think the federal again, I'm a physical therapist. I don't know shit about government when it comes right down to the nuts and bolts. But when it comes to, there's a separation of power too, where the federal government can only apply its power to I don't know how to put this. Like voting rights are a state issue, and
what's this? What if the Supreme Court? What if a Supreme Court looks at this burgeoning challenge and goes, "Nah, it's unconstitutional to do that. Sorry," and then we all just go, "Okay, business as usual," because that's going to happen. There's just going to be an endless series of institutional blockades. Because this would change the presidential election game in a way that would undo the fortunes of many rich families who are very invested in it. So they're just going to throw every institutional blockade at it, and I don't see how this initiative will survive that.
Well, so this is a question into the ether, honestly. But I just want to know, is there a way to pass legislation when it comes to voting rights that can only go to the state Supreme Court?
I don't know.
You know what I mean? Like I wonder about that.
I don't believe so.
Well, that sucks too. Then I don't know enough. I didn't do research.
Yeah, it does suck. It's like as soon as you think, it's like if it, I don't know. I don't want to get into speculation.
Well, that's the thing. I don't know enough. I'm just posing a question. Is there a way to pass? Like, okay, here's an example. Maine passed ranked choice voting. Yeah. Supreme Court can't touch that, I don't believe.
The Supreme Court hasn't tried yet. We'll see.
If you need to have somebody who's knowledgeable on this kind of stuff, I highly recommend talking to Angelo. So I was going through him with a checklist of different things that need to get passed, right? I had a huge list that is longer than Yang's list, okay? And I was like, how would one go about passing this? And he's like walking me through the process and the criteria and all the stuff. Like, he's very knowledgeable. He's also part of the podcast, but he's also like working with HFM and HF. So, I mean, like, he's a very, I highly recommend talking to him. He's a brilliant man.
Angelo's great.
Yeah, I'm thinking about maybe reaching out to like a constitutional lawyer and see if they'd be interested in just coming on and say, hey, I got 3 questions. Can we dive into it and make a couple clips of it and just
That'd be great.
help inform people like myself who are interested, just don't know where to go? What if I just go Google constitutional lawyers that just have 30 minutes? That'd be fun to have a live stream and say, or have like a series called Ask a Lawyer or some shit, where people can chime in like through streaming like I do, where people can come in and ask the lawyer a question about some constitutional legality
Yeah,
or
I remember like having a civics class like in middle school. Sometimes you do in high school, but they'll
Yeah.
never go over any of this. It's just like we had something called like a constitution test where we just had to memorize a whole bunch of crap and then forget it the day right after the test, and it's all just a sham. It's all just BS. Like we really need like better civics in our schools.
I want to talk a little bit more about this prospect of a popular vote being used by a coalition of willing states trying to better the nation, and what the federal government could do to stop them. I mean, for one, what if the federal government decides to pass legislation that says if a state does not vote in the traditional way, we will give them no funding this year, no money for you, state. What will stop them from doing that? They can do that anytime, and then the state will go, "Sorry, guys, we got to pull out this coalition. We need the money." Why do you think that? I mean, I see that happening. Do you see it not happening?
Well, I see it hasn't happened yet. It hasn't had enough time to do anything yet. So it'd be interesting what happens with Maine's ranked choice voting and these other, I think it's 5 or 7 states. I think Nevada, California, I think all liberal states, as Trump calls them, Democratic radical states. It'll be interesting the next coming year to see how long it'll take them to challenge it or find some kind of a legal challenge, I guess you'd say, to get it to the Supreme Court level, which I don't know.
Putting them through whatever hell they have to go through to reverse those things, as opposed to letting them think that we're sitting on our laurels, not trying to do anything.
Well, and it's harder to undo law than it is to create law. So now that Maine has a state and is taking it up to the highest level in the state, I wonder. Yeah, again, I'm just asking questions. I just wonder what it would take to undo
true.
that.
That is one advantage on the side of Maine, but 2 advantages on the side of Maine's opponents are: 1, the federal government tends to override the state government, and 2, the people with money tend to get laws passed, and they get to override the laws for people without money as a rule. So I still see the advantage not going to Maine. Advantage feds.
The
Well,
other
right
thing
now-
too about laws and getting them, like, just even the petition, who's paying for the people to go get those signatures? Like, if you have money, you can get petitions signed, right? But like, otherwise, what, volunteers? Is that no? We don't do stuff like that. So the laws that need to exist don't, because the people with the money are the ones actually getting stuff. Now, that's not for everybody, and obviously we pass things.
That's
But
definitely not nothing new. That's how Mike Bloomberg got on the ballot quicker than Andrew Yang in Indiana.
I mean, okay, I have a question. If we're gonna do these question things, if we had just gang volunteers all get these petitions to get signed and for UBI, like, could we pull that off? Like, is that a thing that we could be like, no? Okay, why?
Well, ultimately, it's all about the money. So it doesn't matter what law we pass. If Congress says no to the money, it doesn't exist. It's like, I was in the military, so I'm a veteran, and they made this entrepreneur. Obama made this legislative thing. He's like, okay, we're going to create an entrepreneur program for veterans. We're going to ask for this much money, and then Congress goes no. And there's $0 in this vet program. They created this, I can't remember, it's called like the vet zone or something like that, where I can go to the website. You go on the website, you can do all this work, but then it goes to funding. Wrong answer, 0. And it had like maybe $4 million total, which is pretty much build a website and make a couple of commercials or some shit, but it's zero. Like, that's the thing. So again, I hate to say it all the time. It's all about Congress because they control the purses. They're the purse keepers.
Yeah.
And you know, it doesn't matter what we think. If it's
So why
like,
not just like write in Andrew Yang and vote down ballot for Congress then?
I'm doing all that except for the Bright and Andrew Yang thing right now.
Yeah, so but I'm saying why not? If it's all about Congress, it seems like the complete correct vote is to also say no to the duopoly. While
Yes, it
also,
is.
yeah.
I can't get past the guilt that I have right now.
Okay,
in
I feel you
2016.
then. I mean,
That's what I'm.
that's a
That's
good
where I'm
answer.
at. I
That's a good answer. Thank you for being
can't
honest.
get past that. Yeah, I just can't get past that guilt. The in my heart of hearts, fuck them all. Right in Andrew Yang, VP, Boyce, fucking Littlefield. You know, like that's why I'm like, I'll do it if I'll do it myself. You know,
I like that
shit.
attitude. Yeah.
I'd be a horrible VP. But I'd be too loud. But, like in my heart of hearts, I want to write an Andrew Yang, but right now this guilt of me being part of the problem,
Yeah,
which is
I
also
think that's the trick.
the point of them shaming
You're
us.
really not part of. You have to be brave and say no. I will not be shamed. I am not part of the problem. I am good. I am not going to be tricked. But if you don't feel that way, you don't feel that way. So just look inside, man.
I feel that way, but I feel more guilt than anything right now because of Michigan.
Yeah,
A
a lot of money went into making you feel that way.
Michigan
And they
is
got their money's worth with me, I guess. That's one vote.
They did.
Michigan is definitely the place. You know, they still make jokes about it in the media and such about how Michigan voted for Jill Stein and blah blah blah. And
It's not Michigan's fault for knowing that the duopoly had nothing good for it, but the
Yeah,
duopoly makes you think it's Michigan's fault.
I'm not going to empower Trump or the people on the far end that are his supporters who like. They don't need to be empowered by any means.
It's a matter
either.
of priorities.
Definitely
It's a matter of priorities.
It's okay.
Yeah, that's what.
But
I want to also be honest, guys. There is 0 offices in Michigan for the Biden campaign, just like Hillary. 0 campaign offices, not even fucking Detroit. It's a horrible strategy. First of all, all they're doing is digital marketing. That's it. I get a shit ton of Facebook and Google and YouTube ads for Joe Biden, but nothing. I have a patient up in South Haven, Michigan that she's a volunteer for the Michigan Democrats, and she literally buys signs and gives them away out of her own pocket for Joe Biden's and other down ballot candidates. She's in a place she can do that, but still, that's silly to me. But she's given away hundreds of yard signs because before her, there were no yard signs in Southwest Michigan. I'll be honest with you guys, 0. Then all of a sudden, I noticed signs. I was like, damn, I saw a bunch of Biden signs out of the blue. She goes, I bought all those. I'm like, huh? And people come to her and they just like, I'm outside working with her husband doing therapy. Then people just drive up in their driveway and say, hey, do you live here? Like, no, I'm just physical therapy. I was like, are you here for a sign? They go, yes. I was like, okay, we'll go back. We give them a sign. You know, like, but the Biden campaign isn't, their strategy is freaking horrible in Michigan. And it's the same strategy they had for Hillary, which did not work. So I would be surprised, honestly, if Biden wins Michigan. Let's be honest.
yeah, it's a tough one. Before you go, because you got like 2 minutes left, I just want to really quickly state you had messaged me here on Discord a few days back, and I hadn't noticed it because I suck at Discord and I'm rarely on it. So I messaged you on Twitter and I messaged you here just so you know I did get back to you.
Yeah, I was going to get back to you after all this. I love these discussions. We should have them more often, and I would love to try and find a lawyer, a constitutional lawyer that knows the intricacies of voting at the federal versus state level. I want that expertise if it's possible.
Yeah, this has come up before.
Yeah, we need to get more qualified information, you know, not just us speaking from our own point of view. I like experts, which is hard to get. We're just a bunch of nobodies that are trying to do something, you know.
Well,
I say that sarcastically.
Nobody. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Sarcastically, because we all do matter when it comes right down to it.
I don't know. I think all these leaders are nobodies.
Hey man,
yeah, they sure.
I think I'm more of a somebody than Mitch McConnell.
Oh yeah, 100% sure.
I flushed something that was worth more than Mitch McConnell yesterday. Sorry, Mia. Okay.
No, My ears aren't that delicate. The cringe was just the visualization.
Oh boy, squeeze a Mitch. I hate that little bastard.
He's a real problem.
He's
Yeah.
he's like
He's
the
like a
bad
lump.
guy that wears it with a badge.
Yep.
You know, that's just he is the most. He's the corrupter, or actually, he's not even. He's an enabler of corruption
Mm-hmm.
Right.
and a willing participant. You know, because he's made a living off of it. In Kentucky, where the state has the bottom 5 education outcomes, bottom 5 income outcomes.
And Jeff has such a narrative about bootstraps, right?
Yep, nobody's got any boots in Kentucky.
Right.
That's why I love Mike Breuer as a candidate. I drove down there for his election and everything, and
He's
did
great.
everything I could.
I love him. Yeah, he's been on the
He's-
show.
Yeah, he was an
Hell
awesome.
yeah, Mike is really good people, man.
We're pushing for him. Going for him.
Absolutely. Well, hey, he had a decent first turn, and we'll see what happens, man. We just gotta keep
You're
trying.
right. He did have a decent first turn. So
You know,
we gotta keep
considering-
trying. I hope we haven't heard the last from him. I hope he comes back.
I
Basically,
hope
like
he is.
McConnell's just like the clog in the pipes, like the biggest clog. Like basically, like he'd be like one of those things that make people have a heart attack because it just blocks everything and nothing can flow. He's like the enemy of circulation. Yeah.
He's like trying to flush a sweatshirt.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not
Right.
gonna
Right.
Just- no
You
matter
gotta
how
get the
hard
plumber.
go.
You got to get that like acid stuff in there to like melt it, like
Awkward.
really corrosive acid. I could just imagine pouring it on his wrinkled up face and watching him melt like the warlock that he is, or whatever.
Nice.
Wow,
All
wow.
right, guys. I gotta jump out, guys. I appreciate you guys having
Thank you
me
so
on.
much for coming.
Love-
This has been fantastic. I would love to have you again. Yeah.
Anytime, guys. Just let me
Yeah, it
know.
was
We
great.
can plan it out. I'll come every goddamn week. I don't care. We need to have these discussions. So
You're welcome to.
Come back every Saturday. That's what I'm on. I would love to
Yeah.
have you every time here.
Thank you for your time and attention. It means a lot. And take care, man.
all right, man. You guys take it easy. Gang, gang.
Gang. I love that guy. What a sweetheart.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Good show, guys. Thank you.
I think we pretty much talked a lot of things there, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, covered a lot of ground.
We did. We did indeed. Thank
That
you,
was
everybody. Thanks to all of you for coming and speaking on our show. And thank you for listening and watching.
And thank you, JL, for
oh,
running
yeah.
it
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
debates, and I want you to know that you are appreciated, even when we.
Thank you. No, I know you appreciate me, and I trust you. You trust me. It's why we can have a good conversation. I'm never going to get angry at you because I trust in my heart of hearts. We want the exact same thing, so it's stupid. Why would I get angry at you? This is a misunderstanding. Anyway, I hope more people can develop that kind of faith. I hope this program inspires you to feel that way. I love you. Thank you for listening. And we're going to have Jackbox tonight, 8 to 10:30 Eastern on our Discord exclusively. If you want to play with us, come on in. Come to the Twitch stream. You can follow along and be in the audience or in the game with your phone or your laptop in another tab. Anyway, you know how Jackbox works, probably, or maybe you don't. I don't know. Anyway, I clicked away to the wrong tab. Here we go. I clicked on Craig. And I was like, I click on Craig to tell Craig to leave. This is some kind of a cross-wiring in my brain. What I do is I tell Craig to leave like this.
Hey,
Goodbye.
wait, guys. I gotta jump off.
Bye, Ariel. All right, I'm going to stop the stream.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.
Right.
Thanks again.
Bye.